Food shortages that we are seeing here in the fall of 2023, and it's looking like some of these will carry into 2024. Let's discuss. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another coffee rant with Dano. Today, we are drinking the original Donut Shop coffee, one of my favorites. Good, strong coffee. Not super strong, but pretty good. If you had to hit pause to get your coffee together or whatever beverage you deem necessary, happy Sunday morning. We are going to discuss some of these things that we are seeing in the stores. I'm going to be taking some of this from thedailymeal.com, which is a website that I frequent on different foods and things, and some of the lists that they have for some of these food shortages, we already know about, but we're going to talk about some of these as we go along, because we've been getting more and more comments of different beef shortages in the stores. Now, it seems like a lot of this is coming from out west, California, Arizona. Been getting a lot of viewers from Arizona lately. Also, thank you to all of our new subscribers, past and present. Thank you all so much for joining the channel. We have now crossed 36,000 subscribers. Thank you all for being part. And if you're new to the channel here, welcome. Don't forget to subscribe down below as we try to cover these events every day here for you. So beef is becoming an issue out west. We're getting more and more comments that people have seen less steaks. Prices, as we know, are through the roof, pretty much on steaks, hamburger, pretty much everything. Sometimes I feel like here in the Midwest, we actually have it pretty easy. But as to where we haven't seen much of a shortage of beef, we don't see as much as we would normally do. But it's been like that for a couple years. Now, last year, as most of us know, farmers had to sell off a lot of their herds because price increases on everything. Everybody has to make a living, and they were forced to sell off a lot of their different herds. And, you know, that's why we're seeing shortages now. That's why we're seeing major price increases. So anyway, Daily Meal talks about this a little bit. I'm going to read some little inserts from different things that they're talking about some of these shortages here. So they talk a little bit about how meat consumption has become a lot less and less. I don't know. I don't know. See, I'll read a little bit here. So, they talk about beef being in short supply, forcing Americans to get their robust protein fix and dietary centerpiece from something other than red meat. They go on to say, okay, so this is from Beef Magazine. I didn't even know there was a Beef Magazine. I'm curious. I may look at this later on, but according to Beef Magazine, the USDA estimates that the average American will consume 5.6% less beef in 2023 than they did in 2022. The steepest decline in consumption in nearly 40 years, consumers' choice to buy less beef is related to economic concerns such as inflation, lackluster GDP growth, and escalating beef costs brought on by ongoing shortage of the meat. According to the Washington Times, a devastating drought in Texas, which was months ago, which is responsible for 14% of the U.S. beef supply, led to a lack of grass-fed feed for cows. Meanwhile, alternative feeds are currently too expensive to be cost-effective. All this resulted in early culls and slaughter of cows meant to be processed in 2023. So as ranchers catch up, consumers can expect a nationwide shortage of beef products of every kind, of which we are seeing now. Guys, this is why we always talk about finding these sales and stocking up on them when you see them. For events like this, when we have something like this, you know, you have a little bit extra put away in your freezer. You'll be able to get by on this, and it's going to be long haul. We're already obviously going into the shortage of beef. So, you know, whether it's, I know it seems out west now, but it's coming. It's coming. We even got a viewer that someone had said they were having trouble finding meat in Texas, one of our longtime viewers, which I thought that was, I mean, if we're finding low meat in Texas, we got issues. Lettuce has crossed the charts again here. Make sure you leave me your comments down below. Let us know if you have noticed shortages of meat. We have been hearing more and more of shortages of chicken. Now, if you remember, I said this was going to happen. We've been seeing chicken go up in price drastically over the last month. right? Month and a half. We've seen chicken steadily rise, but not in like the huge price increases that we're seeing now, especially on like cheaper store brand chicken. Heritage Farm being one of them from Kroger. That's really gone up in price. But anyway, number 2 on their list of expected shortages is lettuce. This is something that seems to come and go. They get a little bit, the one thing I don't like about the Daily Meal website here is they really go into like all these different things of why everybody loves lettuce and all that. I mean, it's a cool read. I like the way that they lay this stuff out, but I also like that they're truthful about this too. It's one of the best sites that I read from where it's all the math has equaled out. Let's just say that. So they're using excerpts from other people to put on their website. So this one they're talking about the Grower-Shipper Association of Central California. The Grower-Shipper Association of Central California. Boy, that's hard to say. The region in and around the agricultural cradle of Salinas experienced multiple unseasonable periods of warm weather, which upset and scorched lettuce plants. So, is that why we've been seeing a lot of black spots on lettuce lately? I know we get a lot of comments on that all the lettuce in stores had black all over it. Same with cabbage, that there were like black spots and stuff. Is that what it is? Is it burned and they're still trying to sell it? I don't know, but and it could be something completely different. I really don't know, but I'm hesitant to buy lettuce that has black spots all over it. Let's see. So they go on to say, weakened by unsuccessfully trying to fight off the effects of the heat, the lettuce crop was left vulnerable to disease. Okay. And that's when spot virus struck. Oh, maybe that's what it is. Insects called thrips, THRIPS, introduce the disease to lettuce crops. It manifests as spotting and discolorization. Okay, so I guess I should have just read a little further. I basically went over the summary of this when I was reading everything, because we're talking about these things, but we're also talking about things that are happening around the country. As to where lettuce has come down a little bit here, we have noticed recently. On my recent trip to Kroger, I noticed some of it go back up in price. We noticed it at Meijer, and we've been getting a lot more comments across the country that your lettuce and some greens have been going back up in price. Celery apparently is going back up in price for whatever reason too. And I say back up in price because they went up like crazy a couple months ago, and then we've seen them start to come down, but we're seeing them start to come back up. I saw broccoli at Kroger the other day. I think it was $2.69 a pound after being $2.49 a pound, or for a bunch. I guess that's a pound. But anyway, that is on lettuce, and apparently I guess we may be seeing more shortages due to that. Not too surprised. They also have beer on here. This has been one that I don't feel like really has been too big of an issue. Yeah, whether it's okay, now here's something about the beer that I haven't talked about. And you guys have left this some in the comments. A shortage of cans, because we were talking about like aluminum cans and stuff. And as to where that is a bit of the issue, I guess. But the big one that we don't talk about usually is a shortage of A key ingredient in making beer is the addition of carbon dioxide. Well, the bubbling agent is harder to obtain than it was a few years ago, according to Axios. Carbon dioxide is a solid form of dry ice, which is heavily utilized for the shipping of the virus vaccines. Already stymied, the carbon dioxide supply chain suffered more damage when a major production facility in Mississippi became contaminated by a nearby volcano in September of 2022. Wow, I didn't know that. Sheesh. And one they list on here is champagne. We're going to skip over that. Okay, oranges. Oranges have been an issue. Now, we've been getting comments over the last couple weeks on like very bad, bitter tasting oranges. I bought one the other day. It wasn't too bad. It did seem a little bitter. I just bought one navel orange though. It really wasn't that bad. I've noticed that a lot of these mandarins have looked terrible lately. And I probably should have said something, at the Kroger that I went to the other day, but a lot of those looked really bad. But they go on to talk about they're getting their information from the Florida Department of Citrus, which Florida obviously is the state of one of the most prolific regions for growing oranges and producing orange juice. The Florida climate usually provides ideal citrus conditions, including near tropical temperatures, plenty of rain and sun, and sandy soil. But when the weather gets even a little out of whack, it can lead to catastrophic effects on Florida crop, a situation out in 2023. And then they go on to talk about the different hurricanes. And then we also have heard from a lot of viewers. I'm surprised they don't mention the greening disease that has been moving further south in Florida. A lot of our viewers talk about that. There's something that has been causing a lot of orange growers to have to move further south in Florida for their crops, for their trees of oranges, their orchards to grow flourishly and not be tainted by whatever that. Let me know, any of our Floridians. I forget the name of that disease that they call it, but it has caused a lot of Floridians to move south on their orchards for oranges. So, and the funny thing is where we get the most comments for not being able to find oranges is Florida. It's Florida. Like, that's just crazy. Like, I mean, I know we get a lot of our oranges here in the Midwest from California. Not many Florida oranges really at all. Let's see here. So we're going to go into... Hold on here. Okay, we're good. So now we're going to talk a little bit about cooking oil. Now, I have been getting some comments on some different cooking oils, not really like vegetable oil. We have gotten some comments on some olive oils. There's been some issues with different brands of olive oils that come out of Italy there has been an issue with their crops as well and being able to produce olive oil. So that's a big reason for that. But let's go into this here. So they say there's a certain category of commercial agriculture called oil seed crops, which collectively make up raw materials used to make cooking oils. Among oiled seed crops are soybeans, sunflowers, peanuts, rapeseed, and canola. According to the USDA, which are processed into millions of bottles of fatty plant oil used to cook our food, the vast majority of oilseed crops are harvested in Russia and Ukraine. The Brookings Institution reported that more than 70% of the world's sunflower seed and sunflower oil alone in 2020 originated in those two countries, which as of 2022 and in 2023 here, they are at war with one another, with those countries preoccupied by military conflict. Time magazine reports that exports will be way down, leading to shortages of cooking oil and higher prices for what remains available. That's crazy. I'll tell you what, I didn't realize it was that much. I knew that a lot of this I wonder if some of these other specialty oils too, because a lot of people have been talking about like different like sunflower oils and stuff, which we can still find some sunflower oils at like Meijer and some other stores. But yeah, that's been in short supply for a while. I guess that would make sense, a couple of years. And this goes on to actually say, making matters worse, in Indonesia, the world's leading producer of palm oil, the country temporarily banned exports. All these banning exports, of their product in April of 2022. Didn't realize it's been that long. After settling on a rule to limit exports, producers had to keep 1 ton in the country for every 8 shipped out for every 8 shipped out. The Indonesia government cut that ratio down to 1 ton staying at home for every 6 imported. That makes for a 25% decrease in palm oil shipments. So that's probably why we've had that issue with palm oil. It's amazing how many questions are being answered here by this. Another reason why I like the daily meal here. Butter. I mean, this is stuff we're seeing, guys. This is stuff we're already seeing. Butter prices, not maybe shortages, at least around here in the Midwest right now, but we've gotten some comments on, when I was talking about butter the other day going up in price, we got a few comments of some people around the country who were talking about there was some major shortages on butter. So, this all ties together. This all kind of connects together here, because when we see price increases on things like this, especially big ones, we know there's probably a shortage somewhere. That's how we knew about the shortage with the sugar. When sugar went up 5 times in 1 month, I'm thinking to myself, there's got to be a shortage somewhere. Something's going on. Apparently, there's been big shortages of sugar, which we find gaps over the last couple years with different sugars and stuff. So, not too surprised. But to see butter and stuff like this, we've seen dairy, we've seen milk go way up too lately here in the Midwest. We're paying more for milk now than we ever have. Won't go too much into the butter here. I don't want to just read everything from here. We're seeing the things happen. We're seeing these things happen as we said they were going to happen into fall and into winter. I expect these things to get a lot worse as we get closer to the holiday season and beyond. I think January is when we're going to see significant shortages on beef. I think that's kind of be the hit. I think produce, guys, is going to go through the roof. If you are a canner and you can your own goods, might be a good idea to stock up on some apples, because those seem like they're going to be going up in price. Peaches, obviously, will be going out the door. Some of these things, is seasonal. But we're seeing some sales on them. But just anything. Like if you preserve your own produce, or hopefully, I know a lot of you out there grow your own, which is awesome. But these are things that I think we're going to continue to see go up massively. I don't want to say a lot of this stuff is going to double, but we don't know. Make sure you are prepped. Make sure you are ready. Make sure you're stocked up on some of these things that you love to eat, some of your fruits and vegetables, any way that you can preserve them, freeze them, anything. That's another issue that's not on this list, is frozen products. We are getting probably most comments over the last couple weeks have been frozen products that are just flying off the shelves. Frozen potatoes, again, we're getting more comments of people that can't find potatoes in some stores. Now, we haven't had that issue here. One of our longtime viewers from Mississippi was talking about how they couldn't find potatoes. It's been about a week, maybe a little over a week. But we have other people in some of the northern states that have been having issues with potatoes as well. Now, as to where you may not have some issues with potatoes, some people are. I don't know, maybe there's independent farmers that are close to you or something. I mean, we're kind of that way with milk. When everybody was out of milk a little over a year ago, we were still getting it in because we're surrounded by dairy farmers here in the Midwest. So that could play part of that if it's closer to you, or maybe it's on a cheaper truck route or the only truck route to where it's going. There's no really any rhyme or reason. We just try to talk about these things as they happen. So if we're mentioning some of the products that you need in the future, one of the big ones is what we need to talk about here for just a second, is some of the holidays coming up. Now, there's been a lot of you who've been talking about some of these people remembering what we did last year. We were going in and out of the stores trying to find the best deals. We were seeing products go up in price right before Thanksgiving. Now, like a week or two before Thanksgiving, we were seeing a lot of different canned goods like pie mixes and what is that? The Libby's pumpkin pie mix and 100% pumpkin. That stuff went up. We were seeing Carnation go up in price. It was like all these different things that you want or are traditional big sellers for manufacturers and stores, during the holiday season. These were the things that were going up. We've eventually found good deals on turkey, but that was hard too. I do believe they'll be 99 cents a pound, but how long are we going to have to wait? Somebody actually mentioned that I think you said Kroger is going to have 99 cent a pound turkeys this week. Gonna wait on that. Don't jump on that yet. Someone said they had seen that in the article. I'll have to check that out, or in the ad. I'll have to check that out, and that's great. If we're seeing that this early, and all you have is Kroger, or if that's usually where you traditionally get your turkey, you may want to go ahead and buy one and just keep it frozen. Because if they're doing that this early, there's an issue. I've never seen Kroger put 99-cent a pound turkeys out the first week of October. Usually it's like the second week of November, or, last year, the way it fell, it was more toward, it seemed like it was that last week. Now, we were pointing out turkey in other places, like Meijer had some good deals, but Kroger wasn't until that very last week. And then the next week after that, like, some of the stuff went on sale, but we saw more price increases on holiday items. I don't know why this is. I don't know. Maybe it's because they think that we know that the prices are going to be awesome when Thanksgiving is over. We actually saw things go more up in price. We saw the deals on the turkeys there for a while, for like a few weeks. I guess people, getting buying whatever was left, I guess. But guys, that's why we talk about being prepared. And thank you to all who have been commenting about this, because I agree with you. I think this is definitely going to happen. We're going to see more price increases. We saw it again on Libby's. That's why I mentioned that $2.99 on sale. It's now $3.29 a can, which is ridiculous. I mean, just don't buy it at Kroger, I guess. We'd find it cheaper anywhere else. So they go on to talk about corn. Corn, I don't know. Like, edible corn that we eat, sweet corn, I believe has been in very low supply. I don't remember a summer that has gone by where I have seen less and less corn. Right? Let me know down in the comments. Have you had plenty of corn on the cob? I mean, we got it, I just don't feel like it's in the masses that it was. Even when it was like a few months ago, or a couple months ago, when they were just harvesting the crop. It was like it was never as plentiful as it was, and the prices were ridiculous. It took a few weeks for prices to come down. I remember one time Meijer had that awesome deal. It was like 10 for 10, or maybe it was 5. I don't know. You got the corn. No, it was, I don't know, 4 for $1, I think it was. Was it 10 for $1 at one point? I don't think so. That sounds too good to be true. And I love my corn. I would have bought up that deal. There was somewhere where I saw it 10 for $1. Maybe it was 10 for $2 or something. That, a few years ago, that wasn't unheard of. But, yeah, definitely a lot less corn. They're going on to talk about some of the different oils that are being used with the corn, high fructose corn syrup and stuff like that, which we try to stay away from all that anyway. So, if there's an issue with that, I'm fine with it. Okay, and this one here, eggs. I keep hearing this stuff about eggs, guys. Now, I don't know. I always feel like when there's something going on, which we've had an issue with before, right? Obviously, back in April, the egg crisis was ridiculous. It was just, with the avian flu, the bird flu, and all that stuff, it was just caused the very high price in eggs. Now, I will say this. We're seeing chicken reach levels of very high levels of price. Okay, chicken is getting very expensive. I don't think it's going down. And how I know this, like, okay, so when we go to like Meijer or something, you guys know, if you've been watching the channel for a while, me and Jessica love Meijer chicken. So we've been seeing prices on it that are less and less of a sale. Like, I had never seen their chicken buy one basically at regular price and then get one 40% off of equal or lesser value. Usually it's just on sale for a better deal. Well, now it's at that regular price, making it way less of a deal. We're seeing that everywhere. I just wanted to point that out because that's how we know that even the places where we've traditionally seen great prices on chicken, it's not so great anymore. It's a subtle way for them to still make it look like it's a good sale, which it is, right? Compared to paying $3.09 a pound for their chicken breast, which honestly, for their chicken breast really isn't too bad. we did see where Sam's Club had actually come down. I don't know how that works. How does that work? Meijer chicken has to stay the same price, but Sam's Club comes down. It's weird. You would think it would go up like the meat and everything else. Meijer ribeye, or I mean Sam's Club ribeyes too. The choice ribeyes, $13.48 a pound still. How they're able to keep that price down, I mean, I almost feel like they're losing money on that deal. Because we're seeing these steak prices in other stores go from $15.99. There was like I saw something the other day. It was like Prime Choice, but it was like $19.99 a pound for a premium cut of, I think it was porterhouse, T-bone or porterhouse. But I couldn't believe it. I was like $19.99 a pound. I'm like, oh, that's crazy. Oh, Publix. We saw that at Publix down in Florida. Excuse me. So, not too crazy about that, I guess. Okay, here's one that I have noticed. I haven't noticed a shortage of them, but some people have. Okay, some people have been saying it seems like tomatoes have been less and less. Okay, I haven't noticed that. As a matter of fact, we've noticed that tomatoes around here have been pretty plentiful. I will say tomatoes don't look good. They haven't looked good for like about a month or so. I was really excited when I was at Sam's Club the other day. I was like, I'm going to get my Flavor Bomb tomatoes. They were out of them. Completely out of them. So I was a little upset about that. Some of the, and I don't really think that, this goes on to the drought and everything, but I think we're past this one. I think tomatoes are coming in full force, and they're coming in from all directions. But let us know down in the comments, have you noticed a major shortage of tomatoes? I mean, I guess with this, there are somewhere, just not noticing that around here yet. Okay, here is one we have been getting more and more comments on lately, and this was probably the one that made me think, okay, we need to do a video on this. Bread. Bread is becoming an issue, not around here, unless it's like smaller bakeries. We've heard of some, I heard a story the other day from one of our viewers that a longtime bread company went out of business. I think they were 80 years, a family-owned business. That's always sad to hear. I hate hearing stuff like that. And that's what I fear, guys. I fear the more and more these prices go up, or not having the ingredients to make the products, or it's just not available. If we don't have the ingredients to make what you are making in your business, well, it's going to be hard to run that business. But anyway, just wanted to talk a little bit about bread for a second, because we are noticing, and I will read this one, even though we all know what this small part of it is. The Russian invasion of Ukraine and subsequent and ongoing war was one of the bigger global news stories of 2022. It is still going on in 2023, and the ramifications will be felt, or are felt, in the food world and beyond. According to Brookings Institution, about 20% of the world's cereal grain production, what have we been noticing a lot of? Cheerios. Getting more and more comments on Cheerios. And I know it's just one cereal, but that's a pretty popular one. And we have been seeing shortages of Cheerios. So, and I know it's not, you can always just get a different cereal, Raisin Bran maybe. And I don't know, but Cheerios is usually pretty plentiful, and we've been seeing less and less in the stores, even around here in Cincinnati. But as they go on to, says, it comes from those countries whose large-scale farming operations remain interrupted. With that large of a portion of wheat business out of the game for the time being, that's likely to result in a shortage of things made from wheat, like bread. Exports resumed in November 22nd, but obviously we know there's been issues since then and things that have gone on. But it could take time for the wheat supply to return to pre-war levels. Yeah, they're talking years. So, I don't know. They go on to say here, not only will Eastern European conflict likely lead to bread scarcity, but so will climate change, according to the Conversation, which is an article, I guess, or I don't know. It's some website. According to the conversation, rising temperatures are decreasing yields of cash crops around the world, including wheat earmarked to make bread. So it's looking like this is an issue to stay for a while. And again, as we've seen, no shortages of bread around here. We'll see places where it's been low, but they come back pretty. Always give it to that second week. I always tell people, like, if you see a big shortage of something, let us know, right? But wait till that next week, because if it hasn't been replaced, and then we're seeing hundreds and hundreds of comments of this going away and not being replaced, it's a problem. Like pasta. I'm surprised that is not on this list. They just might tie that in with the wheat and everything else. The last thing on their list here is baby formula. And I am done with that because I have not, other than the recall on that Parents' Choice baby formula, that's been the only news that we've gotten lately. Everywhere I go, I have seen baby formula everywhere. And the fact that we're not getting comments anymore on it tells me that it must be coming in. Because when there was a shortage of baby formula and it was all gone, nobody could find any, we were getting hundreds of comments. I haven't had one, I don't know, in a month, maybe longer. I did go over it in a store just to make sure Walmart was getting it in. They had plenty. Now the prices have gone up. The prices are getting ridiculous on it. That could be why people aren't buying it. I really don't know. I mean, it's even gone up at Walmart. Like $2 to $3 each container. Doesn't matter what it is. Similac, Enfamil, Parents' Choice, they've all gone up in price. So whether that's what it was, went away, trying to figure it out. Obviously, we know about the different factory fires and all that. I have my own thoughts on that, but we will not discuss those today. Guys, that is it for the shortage reports. If you are seeing anything disappearing from the stores, don't hesitate to let us know what is going on. Make sure you abbreviate your city and state so that you may be helping out your neighbor, not waste their time going to said store or wasting their gas, even though we have seen some gas prices come down around here. We talked about this the other day. I saw gas prices come down again here. They went down another 10 cents. So, pretty awesome. And again, somebody from Florida said it was $2.98 a gallon. I think I just talked about this. But anyway, any Floridians out there, let us know what your gas prices are. Everybody let us know your gas prices. Hopefully it'll start coming down some. We want the diesel to come down because diesel makes it cheaper for the trucks, which in turn makes it cheaper for the transportation to get said product to the store. Guys, thank you so much for watching tonight. Post your comments below. Let me know what you think. Have a great day.